PACWEST Spotlight with Madyson Hautz of the Camosun Chargers women's basketball team. Hi, Madyson.
Hi.
Happy holidays. You're in Regina, I understand.
Yes.
How's the weather in Regina?
It's actually not that bad. It
Oh.
is not as bad as it normally is, and it hasn't been snowing a lot, so
Not yet, anyway.
not yet. Yeah.
Well, you have an interesting path. You were part of the women's Chargers volleyball team for 2 years. COVID happens and you return as a basketball player. So I want to first ask you about growing up. Were you a multi-sport athlete all the time? Did you play other things?
Yeah, I've always been a multi-sport athlete. I started out with hockey. I had a rink in my backyard, so I started out with hockey and then kind of just like evolved into a bunch of different sports. I have an older brother too, so that made me like super competitive into sports as well. But ended up being mostly just volleyball and basketball for my high school career because that was pretty much all I could have time for.
Mhm.
And I played basketball and volleyball right up until grade 12. That's when I made the decision to play volleyball. And then kind of just missed basketball, wanted to try it again, switched over.
So was it a tough decision to choose volleyball over basketball going into a post-secondary institution?
It really was. And it kind of like screwed me over a little bit because I hadn't chosen I didn't choose my sport early enough, which one I really wanted to do. So it made it really hard to choose a post-secondary school because I chose so late.
Oh, okay.
And so the recruiting process was super complicated in the fact that like so many teams had already had full rosters. And it just happened to be that I had chosen volleyball at that time. So I just had to kind of stick with volleyball. I didn't really have any film for basketball anyways. So it's not like I could even get recruited for basketball easily. So I went with volleyball, came out to Victoria, I guess, and just really liked Victoria, really liked my teammates, everything, but just wanted to switch over. So just missed basketball, started realizing that I maybe made the wrong decision in what sport I chose. So
Was
decided to make the change.
there a moment in volleyball during one of the seasons where you thought, you know what, this just isn't for me. I want to switch over? Like when did that decision happen?
I think there was a couple moments, and I think the idea was always in the back of my head. And I think it was just like, it was hard to make that big jump into like telling my volleyball coach, okay, I think I want to play basketball. And then kind of having to risk, like, I have to tell my coach that I want to play basketball. So I probably won't be able to come back to play volleyball. And if I don't make the basketball team, then I kind of have to redo this whole process.
Yeah.
But I was lucky enough that I went to like actually my first tryout was on one of my volleyball game days, like in the morning before.
Wow.
It was pretty funny. So I went in the morning to the gym where I had a game later, shot around, and he was like, yeah, like we'll take you. And yeah, so
What was that conversation like with Coach Brett Hall of the volleyball team?
Brent was always he obviously didn't love me like switching teams, didn't love that idea, but also was super supportive of me, which I really enjoyed, and made it very easy on me, and my stress levels really went down because he was really good about it. Yeah. And I think he knew it was like, he's very good with like mental health, especially with the girls on his team. And I think that was one of the biggest things. I was like, I'm not like 100% happy playing volleyball here right now. So I think that basketball might change that. And he was very open to that idea. So, yeah.
Did COVID also not playing that year, did that, I guess, helping your decision to move from volleyball to basketball? Was that a catalyst?
It kind of helped me get back into the groove of basketball because I hadn't played in 4 years. So it was kind of like, okay, I have a year to kind of get back into the groove of things and get back into basketball shape, get back those skills that my muscles may remember, but my mind's still trying to work on a little bit, I guess. It definitely helped. It definitely sucked. I didn't like not playing games, obviously, because those are one of the best parts, but it came with a price and that was fine. I just had to wait a little bit longer and it was worth the wait, I think. So, yeah.
Are you there? Are you where you want to be as far as in shape for basketball? And
I think I am. I think I could get into a little bit better shape, I think, but I think I've definitely regained my skills and everything. So it's definitely still improving to do, of course, but
Do you do you miss volleyball?
I miss I miss games,
Yeah.
obviously. I think it's the biggest part. Like when you're watching the game, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of miss volleyball, but it's never like I miss it so much that I want to go back,
Okay.
kind of thing. Like because I love where I am right now. So yeah.
What about your old volleyball teammates? Do they see you in the hall and say, "Oh, there's a basketball
Yeah.
player"?
Yeah, we see each other in the hallway all the time. A lot of the girls have moved on, so there's only a couple girls that are still on the team
Right.
that I played with, but it's still always like a nice hey, and we even hang out sometimes. Like I have good friends on that team still, and there's no drama or anything, so that's
Well, that's
always
a
good.
good thing.
Yeah.
Wow, it's pretty incredible. So you've always been a multi-sport athlete. Did you have to ask your parents? Did you have to ask anybody, "Hey, I'm thinking about making the change. Are you going to support me?"
It was mostly just I don't know, my mom was never really the type of parent that, like, led my way. She was kind
Right.
of like, "You make your own decisions, like, whatever sports you wanna play, you do that," and I was always the person that I had to kinda do it myself, like, if I wanted to talk to coaches, like, I did that. Like, I didn't have one of those parents that was, like, doing it for me. I know a lot of people have that, but I just never really had that, which made it harder a little bit, but I also I liked that I had to do that on my own
Sure.
because that made me a bigger person in that way, I guess. But yeah, it helped me out. And she was really supportive of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. And that was really helpful. So that's all I really needed from her too. So
Yeah. Well, it's a pretty impressive story. You don't run across too many athletes that go
yeah.
from one sport to another in the post-secondary era. Like,
Yeah.
sure, high school, yeah, you can
Yeah.
play this sport and that sport, but in college, it's like you're a trailblazer almost because it
Yeah.
doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the holiday season. What happens in the house?
Not much. Most my mother lives in Regina, so we always just have like a little gathering before Christmas or on Christmas because some of my family goes away to their cabins or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty chill around here. We don't really do anything big, which kind of helps with like I get to just rest and chill on my break.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
You're gonna be
good.
busy. You're gonna be busy
Yeah.
second half of the
Yeah.
season with all these
Yeah.
makeup games and who
Hmm.
knows what else is to come.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this. Happy holidays
Yeah,
and
no
see you
problem.
on the
You too.
court.
Yeah. Thank you.